having some technical issues this morning. I guess this is live. Okay, let's see. I hope that the audio is working because I have a new mic and it says that it is creating sound. I can see the audio levels moving on my thing, but it's labeled as a different microphone. So I'm just hoping that it's working. And if you can't hear me, then let me know. All right, morning. So I'm assuming you can hear me. All right. Oh, hello. Okay, so let's start it off. We've got magical. It's working. All right. Look at how fancy this is. It like, bing bong, moves around. It's pretty neat. Okay, so magical merriment moments. Let's talk about what you experienced this past week. What was good for you? Let me tell you, I had a packed week. I was trying to collect my own thoughts about what was good this week, and I had too many things to break it down into three. So I'm gonna try. So here on the slideshow we have a picture of me getting my picture taken with Santa. There was a little sneaky photo that Matt took, so you're getting a little behind the scenes one. A picture of me. I went to this world movie premiere, and I was actually in one of the documentaries that was shown just for a little second. And then the other one is a picture of me walking home from the 50th anniversary Baltimore Mayor's Day Parade. It was the first time that I had ever been in the Baltimore parade, and I can't believe it, honestly. Truly can't believe it. It was so much fun. And those are not small moments. Those were big moments, and there were many of them this week. I really couldn't even break it down. I did a lot of things this week. So I want to know what you experienced this week, what you're grateful for, and I hope that this weekly check-in is kind of like a reset, a mood, morale boost for you, and just kind of like checking in and being like, what am I going to write in my gratitude journal? What's going on? And also like a motivation to find merriment in your world. Okay, so what is good news? What is going on in terms of your good news in the world? For me, that the Mr. Trash Wheel documentary was really, really good news. So Mr. Trash Wheel is this giant situation. It's like an installation, but it's functional, and it collects trash in the Baltimore Harbor, and it has these giant googly eyes on it, and it's become this cultural icon here in Baltimore. They've made multiple different ones. They each have their own different personality. They have their own social media. It's really something. And part of the documentary that I was in was there was one documentary that was about making the Baltimore Harbor swimmable and fishable, and when I had no idea that was the goal. And when I went there to the documentary, they did this panel, and at the beginning they were like, is there anybody here that would consider swimming in the harbor next year? And I was like, what? Because the joke here is like, there's dead bodies in the harbor, don't ever do anything like that. There's a lot of jokes around here that are, it's disgusting. Like that's the idea, is that it's a gross place. And then I watched this 8-minute documentary about how much work they're doing on the harbor. And over the past 10 years, this has been the goal, to make it more swimmable and fishable. And they've been taking samples every single day for, 5 days a week for the past 10 years. And measuring it to see like what the levels are, and they're looking for pretty gross stuff, but the reality is the gross stuff is gone, and they've put in all of this effort to make a change in the ecosystem of the water. So even though it's still, you can't see through it, it's because it's an estuary, it's like half saltwater, half freshwater, so it's murky, and that's just like what the Chesapeake Bay looks like. That's what any brackish water looks like. So I think the uncertainty of something that you can't see through, like our emotions, can make it seem like really daunting to work through. But like everything in there is like thriving. There's so much water life in there. And when I found out that the levels in there are like the same as the bay, and people are swimming and fishing in there now, I was stunned. And when they did the survey at the end, like, has anybody changed their mind? I was like, I have absolutely changed my mind, because if you present me with the actual facts, I am absolutely open-minded to changing my mind. And I hope you are too. So that was definitely some good news. And an additional good news, yeah, we absolutely can fix our world again, quote unquote fix. Yeah, and we can do that with ourselves too. You know what I mean? Like, there is always hope. There is always the possibility for change. You know, our ozone layer is healing itself. Like, we can absolutely heal anything that we want to. We can heal everything and anything. It just takes deliberate action. And we're going to talk about that today with positive psychology as well. It loops, everything loops in together, anything that you want to do. So the cats are having fun with all the Christmas cards that I put up. And look at that, cats. So a fun thing that I saw in terms of good news is that this one company is saying that if anyone does an engagement this year and orchestrates a cat into their engagement, that they're giving away free rings to these couples if they are orchestrating a cat into their engagement story, or I guess their proposal. So if you want to put a cat into your collar and you're needing an engagement ring, yeah, like hit this this one company up. I thought that was a cool thing, because you know, rings aren't cheap, so that could always be something that like maybe stalls a proposal. Okay, and as I say that, my cats are running around. I have this new what is it, a staircase with this beautiful vintage like banister. It's like the only original thing from the house, and I've always wanted to be able to put cards, you know, up it, because it has these posts. So I have like all my Christmas cards going up it, but the cats like to play on the stairs, so it's just a matter of time before I have to keep, you know, retaping all the cards up. Okay, so what are we talking about today? So today we're going to go over this week's topic, and as we go through, any questions that you have, please throw them in the chat, and we can just do, you know, as we go through group coaching Q&A, I'll have homework for you, and then we'll do our deck pool. So if you have not already, please like, subscribe, and share this episode, because more people deserve to be happy, and the more of a message we can get out there, the better it is, even if you're watching the replay. Okay, and also I want to share with you, if you have not checked this out already, I have a free challenge. This is a brand new offering. It's a free challenge. It's called the 30 Days of Happiness. There's this awesome calendar view. There's 30 tangible activities for how to be happy, how to feel good, how to bring more fun into your life. So if you're wanting to end this year with a bang, or start out the new year, depending on when you're watching this, with, you know, a fun injection, a fun boost, and you want to feel good, you want to, I don't know, I feel like the people that I attract are creative weirdos, and, you know, we are also very chaotic, right? We're up in the air. We are, you know, not necessarily the most grounded, and we find it maybe a little bit more of a struggle to do the things that we want to do in the time frames that we want to do them. We have a lot of ideas. We have a lot of thoughts and dreams, but putting them together into a calendar, making time for those things is not always as easy as we think it is. We have the most ideas and the least amount of action, where as somebody who doesn't even have that many ideas can seem to be getting more done on a more average thing, and it can be really frustrating. So I feel you, I see you, and that's why I have created a lot of systems so that you can kind of like let the work feel easier, let the autopilot kind of run and work in your favor. And one of those things that really needs to work in your favor is fun, because you are really good at having fun. You're probably like the best at having fun, but you have to make time for it. And your fun, your childlike fun, is the thing that actually fuels your creativity. And if you let that candle burn out, then it's actually going to be, everything is going to stifle. Your creative weirdo, your creative fun, your essence is the thing that really needs to be on fire. Oh, I've been doing the challenge. I'm on day 4. I love that. I love that. So yeah. And I think, you know, one of the great things about this challenge too is that it comes with not just a calendar, but 30 days of like PDFs that come with additional tips and tricks. So if I say something like, you know, watch something, I'm not just going to leave you to that. I want to always make sure that you have options, that you have examples, that you have tips and tricks and links and stuff if necessary. So I'm not going to say do a body scan meditation and leave you to find it. Even if I know that you're completely capable of finding that, I want to make sure that it's easy peasy, dewy, squeezy, whatever that means. I want you to be able to just be like, okay, I'm going to do it. And then you just click on the thing. Okay, so even something as simple as like watching a stand-up show, I want to make sure that you're having like a clean slate to just watch stand-up that is joyous, that there's no like sarcastic bullshit. You know, I want to give you really clean, not clean necessarily, like they're gonna cuss probably, but it's gonna be from the message of merriment, you know? So I've got all those tips and tricks from all my research of 10 years and psychology. So I'm giving you all that stuff, and this is free. Now, if you want to pump up that level and you want to pair this with something that is really extra awesome, then I recommend getting the pep talks to hype up your heart. This is for 30 days also, and you can do something like this in tandem with the 30 days of happiness. So this is something that I'm actually really thrilled to offer because I've never shared this part of my creative expression with anybody yet. This is like spoken word poetry. There's a different rhythm to this. All of them are a little different, and I really struggled with which one I was going to share as the free one. And I decided to share the one that talks about being poetry because it's about, because that's kind of the medium that I'm doing. So some of them I'm so, channeling is an interesting word to use because I know that it can be very off-putting if you don't understand, and it can sound very woo and even spiritual or religious or something, but I want to be clear that it's sometimes that just means that you're not writing or scripting anything out in advance. You're just kind of like feeling the energy and saying it all at once. So in that way, a lot of these are channeled. I just thought of a theme and I let it go. And they're all to these different audio tracks. They're all on this different like rhythm and beat. And it's kind of like if you like having stuff on in the background and you like having this like feeling of positivity, or if you like listening to podcasts, if you like listening to music, if you like having TV shows even on in the background, it's really, really helpful, I think, to have something like boost you up in the background. I like listening to positive affirmation audio in the background. I think this is even better because it's like a guided, fluid message. So if you are interested in this, then check it out because this is on pre-sale only for today and tomorrow. And that means it's 20% off. So you can find this, you can scan the QR code, you can listen to a free one. And it's uncustomary.org/30-days-pep-talks. Or you can just go to my website, uncustomary.org, or you can just scan this QR code. It's running across the screen at the bottom in the marquee. I really recommend it. You see all these like thumbnails, you get the MP3s, you can download them, you can listen to them on your phone. I think it's amazing. You own them forever. Okay? All right. So this week's topic is positive psychology principles. All right, let's get into this. Let me pull up my outline here. All right, so positive psychology is a subsect of psychology that focuses on satisfaction, self-fulfillment, contentment, and a life full of meaning, both for the individual and the community. So today I'm going to talk about 5 principles of positive psychology that are defined by one of the founders, Dr. Martin Seligman. And as we're going through this, the 5 principles spell out PERMA, P-E-R-M-A. I want you to think about what you find the most resistance or difficult to you, and then identify one of the action steps within that area that you want to, like whatever section of that we go through in PERMA, each level of PERMA stands for something, and I want you to be able to be like, okay, the P section is feeling like it's the most resistant to me. And whatever one that is for you, then I want you to be able to say, okay, this one is the one that I'm going to find the tangible homework to do in there, because I'm going to give you homework in each section and I'm not going to repeat it all at the end. So whatever that is for you, I want you to be able to identify. And as we go through, feel free to ask me specific questions that relate to you, and I can go on tangents and, answer things and make this more personalized for you. I also want to highlight the fact that these principles are things that can make anything better. Where I am, I know we have entered the lower level of light season, where the days are much shorter, and I know that I'm affected by that. I mean, we're all affected by that. Some of us are affected in a different way, with seasonal affective disorder and just, having lower light. So when we are when we're deliberate about something, the same way that we were discussing having hope with the goal to heal something, we can be deliberate about really anything. And having these positive psychology principles are the same way. If you practice these principles in advance, by which I mean to be proactive about them instead of retroactive, then you will ultimately maintain your happiness instead of needing to like ping pong back between sadness and happiness. It doesn't need to be this, how do I get out of being sad to feel something? It can be this consistent level of satisfaction. And that's really what we want. I think a lot of us mistake joy for euphoria spikes instead of, and dopamine hits instead of consistent satisfaction and ease. Recently I've been using the example of love songs, very popular love songs. Really, most of them, if you look throughout the history of life in terms of music, many love songs are not really about love. They're about addiction. They're about, I need you, I want you, I miss you, I can't have you. What happened when you went away? This is all fucked up now. All these things. And I don't really hear that many songs about soulmates in the way that is not addictive. I don't really hear songs that are like, I love you, and when I found you, it was really easy. When I found you, it was like slipping into a already worn pair of shoes. I love just sitting on the couch with you. I feel like it's just being around myself. I find it to be really easy to be with you. I find it to be extremely normal to be around you. I think that what this is really satisfying. I think this is just a normal place to be. I think that we've really normalized the chase and the conflict in a lot of elements of life. And I think that we think that's normal, and it's not. So even in movies and things, even in movies, we need to have these high levels of conflict. One of my favorite movies is Amelie, and it's one of the reasons is because it's about kindness, and the other reason is because there's no conflict really. And I don't know, I was watching this movie called I think it's called Big Eyes. It's about an artist, and the whole movie focuses on the part of this woman's, she's a real artist in real life. It's based on a true story. And part of her true story, part of her real life, is that she was with this man who manipulated and, like, the definition of gaslit, and took advantage of her and stole her art from her. And the movie chooses to focus on that part of her life. And then the movie stops, like, when she gets her freedom. And I was like, damn, that's when I want to start watching the movie. I want to watch the movie at the point where, like, at the end when they do that little synopsis and it's like, blah, 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 ends up 6 months later doing da da da, and it's like captions on the screen. I wish the captions on the screen were at the beginning of the movie and they were like, this is what happened to her and she used to be manipulated by a thing and now here's, catching you up to where she is now. And then just watch a movie about this woman thriving as an artist. You know? That's what I want to see. But it doesn't sell, unfortunately, because we're all so addicted to conflict. We're so addicted to this chase. We're so addicted to struggle. We are addicted to struggle. And it's really sad to me. It's really, really sad. So we're not going to start selling those kinds of movies, that kind of media, those kinds of products, those kinds of songs, whatever it is, until we start celebrating them. And it has to start first in ourselves. We have to start celebrating the lack of struggle in ourselves. We have to stop believing that the struggle is real. Yeah, we're addicted to drama. Absolutely. Yes. What if our movie, people always ask like that, that thing of like, if you're the star of your own movie, but what genre is your movie? I don't want my movie to have any drama in it. I don't want it to be that. I want it to be like a documentary, comedy, just lovely, flowing, picturesque situation that feels like you're kind of on acid. That's what I'd like. What do you want? And does it really feel like that? Or does it feel tense and anxious? So we have to be proactive in how we get there. And we're going to talk more about joyful planning next week. But I just want you to see that these principles of positive psychology are about, once we're at a certain place, we do have to pull ourselves out, right? But don't use tools to always be like, I'm going to wait until shit gets bad to then pull myself out. Pull yourself out and then be consistent. It's like doing the laundry to get yourself caught up and then waiting and then just doing what you already did, what you used to do, and then waiting until the laundry gets all over the room to then do it all over again. You might as well just never do the laundry. It's like, do the laundry, get yourself caught up, and then start doing it once a week. If you're going to do the laundry and get yourself caught up so it's all clean, and then just wait another 2 months to like be a mess again, then honestly, there's no point for you to catch yourself up. Not really. So if you're going to do all that work to get yourself caught up, to get yourself unstuck from where you feel like you are stuck, but you're not really, because, right, the struggle isn't real. It's something you're telling yourself. Then stay unstuck. Do the proactive work to stay unstuck. So let's talk about what that means. Positive emotion, PERMA. P equals positive emotion. This is your ability to feel good. This is the mindset, okay? So this is feeling hopeful, feeling love, excited, enthusiastic, peaceful, proud, awed, confident, optimistic, inspired, joyful. Having, yes, those euphoric moments, because we do need to be able to experience something that is a spike. It is very important for us to be able to have the ability to spike, because if you only can stay consistent, then you are kind of lacking. It becomes a little bit mundane. Your reference point becomes mundane, but you also really, most of us can only experience spikes. That's where we're at. So that usually isn't the problem. What is the problem is our ability to contain joy in long-lasting, sustained periods. So basically, you want to feel happy, and those are the emotions that that make you happy. So that's the positive emotion, okay? And if you want logical evidence outside of this, then these emotions help humans to return to heart cardiovascular normalcy. And there's a lot of other health benefits, like they improve our chances of survival, having a positive emotion, having positive emotions in general. They improve our social interactions, our bonds, and our reproduction. They enhance our cognitive skills. And basically, it's just kind of like, think about all the negative effects of depression and then reverse them. It's a spectrum. And then, you know, yes, due to biology, some of us start off with a different disposition than other people. Physical, mental, and both. Like, you know, both. Sometimes we have physical and mental stuff happening at the same time, right? Like, I definitely am a different kind of person. I have, on paper, from diagnosed from other people, like a dozen neurodivergences, okay? I'm a weird kind of brain. That does not stop me, though, from feeling a 10 of happiness on good days. And it doesn't need to stop you either, depending on what physical and or mental differences you have. So what to do about it? So stop right here and notice, is positive emotion the thing that you feel is difficult for you? And if so, why? You can share it in the chat or leave a comment if you're waiting on the replay. And then these are the things that you can do about it. And if this is the thing, then I want you to pick one of these as your homework. Start consciously consuming positive media. Good news, uplifting music, feel-good movies. So in the Merriment Makers, we have access to all of these things. I even offer a good news texting service. You can get that a la carte as well. Going outside, spending time in nature, find things bigger than you. Look for awe-inspiring things. Awe is really important. AWE, awe. Number 3, figure out what you like to do and spend time doing it for 20 minutes a day to start. You can do 20 minutes. Hobbies, pleasure, passions. I also have a free Jumpstart Your Joy class in my Facebook group to get ideas. You can find that on my website on customary.org. Check something off your bucket list. If you don't have a bucket list, why not? What is it that you want to do before you die? Why aren't you thinking about that? That's something that you want to do. And then go do one of the things. And number 5, do something totally selfish and weirdly unique to you as long as it's not harming somebody else. So what's something that makes you feel good? Like something really specific. I like root beer lollipops. I like driving around listening to podcasts with like the windows down. I like running my hands over really specific textures. I like textures a lot. I don't know, like what's specific to you? I like making these kinds of things, like these vignettes. I like getting ready and then not going anywhere. Okay, the second thing on PERMA, PERMA, E stands for engagement. Being in flow, the loss of self-consciousness, in the zone, total mindfulness, being absorbed or engaged in what you're doing. Engagement or flow, you probably heard of like being in flow. So that state is like, it makes you get all those like really feel-good neurotransmitters and chemicals. So it's not just serotonin, it's not just dopamine, it's also endorphins, I can never say that one. Anandamine and non-adrenaline. Noradrenaline. And you can also experience heightened senses. Now my speech is all messed up. You can also experience heightened senses, productivity, emotional regulation, and satisfaction. When you're in flow, you're like the closest you'll be to superhuman, basically. It's also likely to improve your sense of intrinsic motivation in the future because the task or experience you are doing makes it more rewardable and enjoyable. And then, let's see. Okay, so if this is the place that you feel like you are finding it difficult to be in, a state of flow, then here are 5 things that you can do to challenge yourself. 1, make a list of the ways where your subconscious already supports you and is in flow during the day. So, where has a part of your brain or body already been in flow without you noticing? So, like breathing, sleeping, blinking, knowing where the stairs are at night, and you know how to get to the bathroom, something like that. And then journal about how you can trust your body to know these things and surrender to flow state, and how this is just another part of that. Number 2 is to create a ritual where you do something you love and care about twice a week for 90 minutes. Because it takes about 90 minutes at least to get into that flow state. And you also can't really do flow state doing something you detest. You also want to pick something challenging, but not something that's really going to hurt your brain. So you can't really get into flow state if the thing that you're doing is something that's boring or too remedial. And you also can't get into it if you're kind of like, how do I do this? Like if it's really, really hard, you're trying to figure out math you don't know, that's not going to work either. You just need to be really interested. Have a pre-ritual ritual where you do everything you need to do before you get it off your mind. So like I have to clear off my desk, I have to make the environment look good. You want to check the annoying stuff off your to-do list, answer texts, check your email, go pee, set the mood, whatever you need to do to sit down and focus. Focus to get in flow. Eliminate your distractions. So turn off your phone, use an ad blocker, close the door, arrange baby or pet sitting, turn on instrumental music. Okay. And then the next one, PERMA R, is relationships. So this is connection, human interactions, feeling loved, supported, valued, having a sense of community. Isolation, they have now figured out, scientists being the they, that if you are lonely, it can be just as detrimental to your health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day, because you'll lose 15 years off your life expectancy. That's a lot. So community can reduce your anxiety and depression, and it can also increase your trust, empathy, and cooperation. And this doesn't mean that you can't be an introvert. Everyone, regardless of your vertedness, can still have community. So if this is something that you're struggling with, you can explain why in the chat or the comments, and here are 5 things you can do. Join BFF Bumble to make a new friend in your area. That's kind of like online dating on an app, but it's specifically for friends. You can ask existing friends questions to learn more about them. You can do something nice for someone that you're already friends with to nurture that relationship, like sending a thank you note. You can get in touch with someone you haven't spoke to in a while. I find at my age, I find it quite lovely to reconnect with people that I floated away from, but I still love. And lastly, you can take a class or join a group in person or online to meet people who enjoy things like you, like the Merriment Makers. Okay, M in PERMA stands for meaning. This is value, worth, sense of purpose, passion. Many cultures have like a very specific language, jargon for this, which is fabulous. And I really wish that we did in America, or just the English language. An example of this is Ikigai, I'm not sure how to say it in Japanese. It's a passion that gives value and joy to life. It also can be translated to obsession. And in Costa Rica, they say pura vida, which means pure life or way of life. And if you have a connection to your purpose, you're less likely to have a stroke, a heart attack, or dementia. And people who have a sense of purpose also sleep better, have a healthier immune system, better cognitive function, and lower stress or overall life or longevity. If this is the area that you're struggling with, then pay attention, because I'm going to tell you 5 ways that you can, challenge yourself in this area. And also we have an entire passion and purpose module in the Merriment Makers. So you can write down all the things that make you go, ooh, ah, and that's a really good way to get into what really lights you up. You can make a personal manifesto, Mad Lib style, what you stand for. And I also offer one of those in my Etsy store. It's like a a Mad Libs, you like fill it in. You plug it in, and by the end of it, you have your own manifesto. It walks you through the whole thing. It's like a 7-page thing. You can write yourself a letter. I like to do, you kind of think about who you are in the future, like 10 years in the future, whatever milestone you want to think of. Imagine who they are, and then have that person write a letter to you today. So think about what they've accomplished, what they want you to know, and how this person is going to get to be that person, and then have them write a letter to, or have that person write a letter to this person. Think about the last time you were really excited, and then go back to that physical place and repeat it and put it on the calendar so you actually do it. And then I also have a free Passion Party Masterclass that you can watch, and you can find that on my website on customary.org. Okay, the A in PERMA, the last one, is accomplishment. So this is achievement, mastery, skill, competence, pride, goals coming to fruition, having the motivation to see something through. So if you have goals, it's great because it means that you believe in yourself enough to dream and that you can actually make them happen. Having an idea is one thing, but turning something into a goal with a deadline and a plan actually means that you have enough confidence to care about yourself and your future. You believe that what you care about matters and that you matter. And when you set and achieve goals, your brain creates new neural pathways and is focused and forced to rewire its self-image, which is like your brain's identity, which is your identity. So if this is where you're struggling, which is honestly, if we have to pick one, a lot of people will pick this area. So if you're scared of this, or struggling with this area the most out of the PERMA positive psychology principles, then let us know and let us know why. And let's talk about it. And here are 5 ways that you can kind of challenge yourself and heal this area. 1 is to make a big, badass, audacious goal. I am, you know that SMART goal thing, SMART. Each thing stands for a different thing. I'm over it. I'm over the realistic part. If you want to get realistic, I think let's do that in the action steps to carry stuff out. But you're setting yourself up for failure if you are not dreaming big at the beginning. I think it's stupid. Most of us are not dreaming big enough, especially with how happy we can be. Number 2, make a list of how much you've already done. It's easy to feel like you can't do stuff now, but I want you to realize how many things you've already learned and mastered. Start with the basics from the beginning of your life, like walking and talking. You've already done that stuff. Seriously, like another thing is to hang up one of your achievements, something that you've done and that you're proud of. A picture, a degree, a ticket stub, hang it up. The next thing is to start saying, I'm a real blank. I'm a real something. Whatever it is that you are you a jewelry maker? Are you an artist? Are you a photographer? Are you a writer? Are you a salesperson? Whatever it is, I'm a real blank. Instead of saying I'm an amateur, I'm trying, I'm whatever, start saying it, I'm a real da-da-da. And then use it as a positive affirmation every day. Whatever you think you're an amateur at, start saying you're a real one instead. And then make a list of goals. Do you have any goals? Are they connected to your values? Are they connected to joy? When are you making time for your goals? If they aren't on the calendar, they aren't happening. If you don't have a calendar, go get one. I can say that I don't struggle with any of these things. That's a first for me. Wow, that's amazing. Congratulations. That's really wonderful. I love that. I'm really proud of you. Okay, so PERMA is, let's recap. PERMA stands for positive emotion, engagement, relationships, meaning, and accomplishment. So if you feel like you have everything on lock, that's so great. So maybe what I would do is go through and rank each one on a stage of 1 to 10. Give yourself a 1 to 10 on each one, and then still see if there's one that's not all the way at a 10, right? And then you'll be able to see which one is not as high as it could be, because we can always still improve and heal a little bit. And then let's take a look at what else I was going to say. In terms of what else? I feel like I need to work on all of these aspects, but I will start with positive emotion this week. Okay, great. So in terms of positive psychology, it's really like, I mean, obviously it's just the psychology of joy, right? Like, this is just using everything that we know about the science of the brain, the science of behavior, and the intent to be happy, right? So what do we know about the way that we behave and the way that the brain works with the goal of being as happy as possible? And these are the main principles of, if we can continue to do these things, then we will enhance our probability to be as happy as possible. Now, this is not an exclusive list of the things that you can do, or an all-inclusive list, I should say, of the things that you can do to be happy. Obviously, I mean, I have just 30 ideas on that 30 days of happiness list, right? But I think that these principles are very good umbrella terms to discuss the ideas from which other things can branch out from. Now, I think there's other things to discuss in terms of how we might counterbalance these with self-sabotage, right? So, a lot of times the reasons that we are not feeling like these places are met, that these are quote unquote checked off, that they're out of 10. So Sadri, can you tell me, you said for once I can say that these are things I don't struggle with, and that's a first for you. Can you tell me what your mindset is that you feel like changed, or what behavior you feel like changed? If this is a new thing for you, can you let me know what it is that you did in your life that you feel like you attribute to this change for you? I'd love to know. So while we're waiting on that, I want to talk about self-sabotage. So in business, when you're training in business, one of the things, like for sales, for example, you are not supposed to say, if somebody comes in and they're like, hey, do you have, here, I'll get even more specific. So my boyfriend worked at this vitamin store, right? And he said this one time, people would come in, and there was like this surge of people coming in, and they were asking for Tums. That's what it was. They were asking for Tums. And he was like, I'm not supposed to tell them no, like that we don't have anything for that, but I don't know what on earth I could give them that's Tums. There's nothing in the store like that. And I was like, that's not true. I mean, it might not be as fast acting, but what's the goal of Tums? And he was like, I mean, to make your stomach not hurt. And I was like, yeah. So you work at a vitamin store. So what if you typed in supplements that aid stomach pain or digestion or something like that? And I, like, off the top of my head, I know that ginger does that, right? And he was like, oh, that's true. And I was like, yeah. So, the point is that you can tell them that it might not be as fast acting, but the point is to make a sale, then that's what you would do, right? Now, my original intent with this bullet point here is that in business, when someone comes up to you, you're not supposed to say, I don't know, because you have now taken this nowhere, right? If someone comes up to a salesperson and they say, do you have this? And they say, I don't know. Like, if you're the customer and you ask if they have belts, then And they're like, I don't know. Like, you might as well not ask them, right? Now, here's an alternative answer. I'm going somewhere with this, I promise. Um, that's a great question. Let me find out for you. Let me find the answer for you. Let me ask someone I don't know, but let me ask someone who does. Now you feel like even though they don't know, you're about to get an answer. You might have to be a little patient. Maybe you wish that they knew off the top of their head, but they are being assertive and they're being pragmatic and they are helping you find out the answer that you didn't have, but they're going to do it for you. Now, why does this relate to positive psychology? Because I want you to have that salesperson energy with yourself. How can you adopt that mindset for yourself? How often, when something happens, a contrast, a challenge, something annoying in your life, that you are like, oh, this is so annoying. I have this bill. I have this new symptom. I have this new problem. I have this new thing I have to clean. I have this new whatever, right? So many new things in life. There's always new things in life. Or I have this existing thing, this thing that's been going on for 6 months or 6 years. And the answer that you have given it is, I don't know. I don't know the answer. I don't know what to do. I don't know if we sell belts or not. Now, here's the thing. Someone knows if you sell belts. You either do or you don't. The store either has belts or it doesn't. And there either is or isn't an answer for your problem. The thing is that there might not be an answer. But that is an answer. You know what I mean? But saying that you don't know is so much more energy because it holds anticipation, it holds space, and it is holding bullshit, honestly. This lack of decision making, this, I don't know what to do about that, is self-sabotage. It's a lack of action, and it's prolonging your ability to be happy. Every time you feel the urge to say, I don't know, stop, notice that you've said, I don't know, and replace it with, that's a good question. Let me find the answer. Life is full of questions. Some of them we might not get the answer to. But wouldn't you rather try? Isn't it much hotter when you see people trying, caring? Don't be apathetic about your own life. My goodness. So what's something that you recently, or just the thing that's coming up right now, have said, I don't know about? I don't know. I don't know what to do about that. Maybe you don't. Some people would say, oh, yes, you do. Maybe you really don't. Maybe you really don't have an answer. Maybe it's not like a gut instinct flip of a coin. Maybe you really need resources. You need research. You need support. And that's going to take time. It took me 4 hours to find my rug. You know what I mean? It takes time. But you have energy. You have you. You have the internet. I see you on here. So you got to try. And that effort is, it can be scary because of the A element of PERMA, the achievement, because ultimately something that I didn't discuss with each of these is our initial fear, pushback, objections to each one of these, because we have one for each, at least one. And one of our initial fear, pushbacks, objectives to achievement is, I'm actually afraid of success. Most of us are, and this is not me making a broad statement that's lofty, this is researched, we are much more afraid of joy and success than we are of misery and failure. Scientifically backed. Because success and joy comes with more responsibility. It comes with us needing to be accountable for this new person that we've stepped into, this new life. I have been deeply afraid of success and the accountability that comes with it. The longer to-do lists, the more makeup that I need to put on, just like little things that feel scary. And they are. They are scary. I'm not going to tell you that they're not. But the things that come with them are better. You want different problems. The thing is that you will have unsuccessful problems. You'll have problems either way. You're just going to have different kinds of problems. You'll have shittier problems when you're unsuccessful, and you'll have better problems when you are successful. And success doesn't necessarily mean money. It's whatever you want to be successful in. So, don't be afraid of success. Don't be afraid of your fear. Every single thing that happens in every area of this PERMA, of these positive psychology principles, comes with a pushback. And every area of life that we can dive deeper into our discomfort of offers a substantial evolution and reward. No one has ever been successful without discomfort on any step of the staircase. Every single time you create an up level, it usually comes from after being in the fetal position on the floor crying because you have to release something. Sorry. That's the truth. But you can let that be easy. You can let the surrender part of this be easy. You can normalize it. Instead of saying, I'm scared I'll succeed, you can reframe it to, I'm so glad I'm succeeding. Reframe I don't know into what a great question I've asked. I've identified that I can learn something from this. And instead of stalling out here, I'm going to find the answer for myself, for my future. And also remind yourself that every fear that you have comes from something that happened in the past. Whether it was about you or not, whether it happened to you or it happened to something outside of you, in society, a preconditioned idea, it all happened in the past. Every negative thing you can think of has happened in the past. Let's focus on the future. And we can make excuses for everything. So let's make excuses to be happy. Okay, so we already went over your homework, which is to think of each one of those. I gave you 5 ideas for each section. So April said she was going to focus on positive emotion. That's great. So you have all 5 of those sections to work on, or all 5 of those tangible ideas to work on. And, I wanted to show you the deck. So this was the deck that I did for this week for my Merriment Making Missions deck. 111 cards for embodying, creating, and spreading joy in the real world. There's 7 different kinds of cards in here. They're all rainbow. And for positive psychology, I picked Tell Someone What Merriment Is. So you'll be able to see the video of this later this week on my social media. And I stood on the side of the road and held a sign that said, "Ask me about merriment." And then, I don't know, did people come up or not? You'll have to wait and see. So, yeah. Okay. So please like, subscribe, and share this video. Everybody deserves to feel good, and hopefully this was really helpful for you. And if you know anybody that wants to feel good or even struggling with it right now and could benefit to feel a little happier, then why not share it even publicly on your social media? Okay, I will see you next week. We've got a lot of really good topics coming this December. We've got planning for joy, we've got gratitude, we've got kindness, we've got joyful goals. We've got some really good topics coming this month. And don't forget to sign up for your free 30-day challenge of happiness and to check out my new labor of love pep talks to hype up your heart. You can get that for 20% off only today and tomorrow at uncustomary.org 30-days-pep-talks, or you can just scan this QR code. It would make me so happy to share this with you. And like I said, it's 20% off today and tomorrow. I hope that this was helpful. Please share any insights or feelings that you got or unlocked or any highlights that you had. Thank you. I'm so glad that you enjoyed it, and I will see you this time next